Managing big enterprise technology, it can feel impossibly complex, right? But what if I told you the secret to getting it right is the exact same secret behind running a five-star restaurant? In this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use the simple, elegant world of hospitality to build a blueprint for five-star service in tech. So let's just ask the big question right up front. What can a five-star restaurant possibly teach us about technology? Well, as you're about to see, the logic of a really well-run restaurant, it gives us this incredibly clear, intuitive roadmap. It's all about one thing: bridging that huge gap between the folks building the tech and the business that tech is supposed to serve. All right, let's talk about the restaurateur's secret. You see, every great restaurant owner, and honestly, every big enterprise leader, they all face the same core challenge. And believe it or not, it's not really about the food or the code, it's about communication. That's it. Getting everyone on the same page is the secret sauce, and it's the #1 reason things fall apart when it goes wrong. And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. You've got the front of house, that's the business side, and you've got the back of house, that's the technology team. And the simple fact is, they speak completely different languages. Think about it. In a restaurant, your servers are talking to customers, right? But the chefs in the back, they're talking about prep times and station readiness. If those two groups can't communicate clearly, orders get messed up and the customer has a terrible time. Well, it's exactly the same in our world. That communication gap is literally where good projects go to die. Okay, the napkin sketch vision. So how do we fix this communication breakdown? Well, the answer isn't to start with some crazy complex technical blueprint that only the engineers in the room can understand. No, we start way simpler. We start with something everyone can look at and say, yep, I get it. We start with the big picture. The kind of thing you could sketch out on the back of a napkin. The tool we use for this is called the C4 model. Now, that stands for context, containers, components, and code. But honestly, don't get bogged down by the jargon. The only thing you really need to remember is that this is a communication-first approach. Its entire purpose is to get everyone on the same page. Think of it like Google Maps for your system. You can zoom way out to see the whole country or zoom right in to see a single street. It's all about showing the right level of detail to the right audience. So, we start at that highest, most zoomed-out level. This is our napkin sketch. The official name is a Level 1 System Context Diagram, but napkin sketch is all you need to know. Look, it's not showing you the kitchen layout or the seating chart, nothing complicated. It just shows 3 things: the restaurant itself, the customers who come to eat, and the suppliers who bring the food. That's it. And it's simple for a very, very good reason. So, what exactly is on this super simple map? Just 3 things. First, the core system. We treat it like a black box. We honestly don't care what's happening inside it at this stage. Second, we show the people, the actors, who are actually using it. And third, we show any key external systems it needs to talk to. The whole point here is to draw a line in the sand and say, this is what we're building and this is what we're not. It sets the scope, period. And this quote, this just nails it. It translates technical scope into a business contract. Think about that. This simple little diagram, it stops being just a picture and becomes a promise. It's a shared agreement. When you get the business folks and the tech folks to nod their heads and agree on this one simple view, you've just saved yourself from a world of pain and costly mistakes down the road. It really does become a contract. All right, not all quality is equal. So we've got our blueprint. Everyone's agreed on what we're building. Fantastic. But now comes the really interesting question. What does a high-quality experience actually feel like for the person using it? Because, and this is so important, it turns out that not all quality is created equal. To dig into that idea, we're going to use a really cool framework called the Kano Model. Just think of it as a powerful lens that helps a restaurateur or, a technology leader understand what separates a meh experience from a truly memorable 5-star one. It lets us dissect this vague idea of quality into a few distinct, really understandable categories. Bathroom versus free appetizer. Look, to really get the Kano model, you just have to understand one simple comparison: the difference between how a customer feels about the restaurant's bathroom and how they feel when they get a surprise free appetizer from the chef. These 2 things could not be more different, and they represent totally different kinds of quality. Getting this distinction, well, it changes everything. So let's start with basic quality. And the perfect way to think about this is the clean bathroom. I mean, think about it. Has anyone ever left a 5-star review that said, wow, the restrooms were so clean? Of course not. You get zero credit for it. It's just expected. It's a non-negotiable assumed standard. But what happens if it's not clean? Oh, you will be heavily penalized for that. This is the absolute foundation. You have to get this right. Okay, next up is desired quality. And for this, just picture a speedy waiter. It's pretty simple, right? The faster your food shows up, the happier you are. The slower it is, the less happy you are. For these kinds of features, satisfaction is a straight line. More is better. Better performance equals more satisfaction. This is the stuff people will actually ask for, and it's where you often compete with everyone else. And that brings us to the magic. Excited quality. This is the free appetizer, the little surprise from the chef. Now, you weren't expecting it at all, so if it doesn't show up, you're not disappointed one bit. Its absence causes zero dissatisfaction. But when it does show up, whoa, that's a wow moment. That's the thing you tell your friends about. These are the delighters that create real loyalty and make you stand out from the crowd. I want to go back to that basic quality for a second, because this quote really is the most important lesson here. Let's just let this sink in for a moment. Their presence is neutral, but their absence is a guaranteed source of significant dissatisfaction. For those clean bathroom features, doing them right gets you nothing, but not doing them costs you everything. You have got to nail the basics before you even dream of adding the fancy stuff. But here's the really mind-bending part of this whole thing. Customer expectations don't stand still, they evolve. And what that means is that today's delighter, that amazing wow factor, well, that often becomes tomorrow's basic expectation. That free appetizer, if every restaurant on the block starts giving one out, pretty soon it's not a surprise anymore, is it? It just becomes something people expect. The perfect example is Wi-Fi in a coffee shop. That used to be a huge delighter. Now, it's a non-negotiable. If you don't have it, people will leave. Okay, from vision to data. So let's recap where we are. We've journeyed from creating that simple, shared blueprint all the way to really dissecting the layers of what a customer experience is made of. We now have the ideas, the mental models, to truly grasp what a 5-star service is all about. What this all means is that we now have the blueprint to actually define a 5-star experience. When you put these two ideas together, using that C4 napkin sketch to get everyone aligned on the what, and then using the Kano model to understand the why behind customer happiness, you have a truly complete framework. You're ready to design something that's not just technically solid, but is also perfectly tuned to what your customers actually value. But this leaves us with one last massive question. Okay, we know what creates quality. We get the difference between a clean bathroom and a free appetizer, but how do we actually measure it? How do you take that feeling of satisfaction or that frustration and turn it into cold, hard data? How do we go from these great concepts to real metrics that we can actually track and improve on? Because, you see, defining quality is really just the beginning. The next, and maybe even harder step, is learning how to measure it.